It's bad when the person in charge of the whole freight bill has no idea what the freight is, has no idea what a truck is, has no idea what a trailer is, has no idea what 6-foot tar. The other day, I was Alright guys, it's Monday, and this is my Washington State load. I've got these middle ones tight, and I'm gonna have these outside ones nice and loose because I want to get up there and put some blankets up there. Let's see. Okay. I'm just a little nervous that we're gonna get tarps on that sharp edge, so I'll throw some of these up there. Alright, so I'll go ahead and get my bungees set up since it's windy out. I don't want to lose tarps. Now the hook's on the other side, so this is nice and stout, so I can use this to get up. What I hate about these blankets, I've only been able to find these blankets one size, and that size is too damn small to cover the entire back or front. All right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get down and tighten that so it doesn't fall off. Now it's time to tarp. really gets a little scary. Normally you'd be able to get on the other side of it and pull it. Oh, we wanted a little bit, a few inches past. That's the trick, I think. Did that end up being okay? I'm going to get down and put a couple of anchors in so we don't lose the whole thing. This is where they get the term tarp monkey from. Wow, this blanket did me a whole lot of freaking good, didn't it? Stay. Okay.
All right, man.
All right, bye. It's kind of the thing we have to deal with a lot in flatbed. Very often, the brokers don't have a clue what they're doing. And so it's up to the driver to make sure the broker knows what they're doing. Okay, now how do you get down? Huh. So sometimes if it's a little taller than this, when I do my back tarp, I'll climb down on one of my straps on the front, and then I'll throw a strap over the top of the back tarp, so that when the forward tarp's closed and we don't have straps anymore, we just use that as a like a mountain climbing, like a rock climbing rope, and then as soon as we get tarp, we take that, strap it down. It's been a long time since I've done that, but sometimes you'd have to throw a strap just to give you a ladder to get down. All right, guys, I'm gonna make some calls. I know I'm supposed to be tarping, but also my company's pretty important to be running right now, so I gotta do the owner thing right now. I gotta verify Jeff's not hauling a double brokered load. Shit we gotta deal with today. Guys, got to the bottom of that. So when we got that rate confirmation for Jeff, it said some things on there that made me question it, but we were kind of in a hurry, and I thought, well, that's kind of sounds reasonable. And then the more stuff that was going on, the broker called me. I don't know if my camera was rolling when they called me and said, hey, the driver's supposed to send us the BOL, what's going on? And I'm like, dude, chill. Like, he will when he gets loaded, right? When he gets it, like. And so it kind of made me a little bit nervous, like maybe they want to make sure that they have the BOL so they can send it to the broker, because the broker, the real broker, is probably reaching out. They're starting to make me nervous. So I called the Savaris company. Oh, I'm missing a... I called the Savaris company and they said, no, that is our freight. We own the freight. We sent it to this broker to broker it out. So it's a legitimate load. And they verified it did not need to be tarped. I don't know if you remember when Jeff called, he said, they're telling me this doesn't need to be tarped here, but the paperwork says it does. The company that owns the freight did verify, no, it doesn't need to be tarped. Unless it's pouring down rain, then we ask that you please keep it dry, but it does not. It is a, what we call as a weather protect load. If it's pouring down rain, then we probably need a tarp. Otherwise, we're good to go. What that really means is it puts all the risk on the carrier. Meaning, if the product shows up damaged, you're screwed, even though it said no tarp. But he's down in Oregon, I'm up here in Seattle area. He's going to Spokane, I'm going to Spokane. I don't think there's going to be any weather, so we should be good. Sometimes you need to call and double check some things, guys, because these brokers be all kinds of screwy sometimes. These brokers with a keyboard and an LED screen will cause all kinds of bullshit if you're not careful. I kind of wonder what our industry would be like if we required brokers to spend a certain amount of time working for a trucking company, or if we required like the main broker at the branch to have been a truck driver. Imagine that. Imagine how good all of a sudden the industry would be if every manager at the brokerage used to be a truck driver. Be pretty hard to do, but things would get a lot better, I think, because they'd understand some things. It's bad when the person in charge of the whole freight bill has no idea what the freight is, has no idea what a truck is, has no idea what a trailer is, has no idea what 6-foot tarp. The other day I was on the phone with a broker, nice young lady, and we were talking about tarps, and she goes, she says, oh, this needs 6-foot tarps or something. And I said, okay, cool. And I was like, well, I've got or I think I asked her how tall the freight was. She's like, oh, it's only 2 foot tall, but she was asking for 8-foot tarps. And I'm like, what? I'm like, why would you need 8-foot tarps? She's like, well, because it's 8 foot across. Like over the top. And I'm like, no. I explained to her how it worked. I'm like, no, That's the drop on the side. I said my 4-foot tarps are 16 foot because they're 4 foot up the sides, 8 foot over the top, and 4 foot back down the sides. And it kind of, she had an epiphany. She's like, oh, I get it. She's like, no one's ever explained that to me before. And I'm like, yeah, you know, ask a truck driver. And so those are the people that are moving the freight, and they're putting the details in the load saying requires 8 foot tarps, right? Because it's 8 foot wide. So sometimes I think a little bit of training goes a long ways. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Let me know if you guys are in favor of brokerages needing to have some training level when it comes to moving freight. But then the problem with that is, as soon as that requirement goes into place, brokers are gonna say that truck drivers need to have freight logistics training. And we can just go back and forth on that one, right? Certainly would make things smoother though, if everybody understood a little bit of each other's job, you know? You know, one thing I think, if there was a flatbed broker who used to be a flatbed truck driver and knows what it takes to tarp, I guarantee you that guy would go out of his way to talk to his customers and say, look, we can save a lot of money and a lot of time on the driver's side if we can sell this as a non-tarp load. But I think too often the brokers just get in this habit of taking whatever the shipper says, whatever the customer says, and putting that on there when they probably could get away with having a lot of loads go untarped, you know, especially in the summer. A lot of times we tarp a load. Every flatbedder knows this. You tarp a load, you get there to pick it up, and it's stacked outside. It's raining. It's soaking wet. You put it on the trailer, and all of a sudden now it has to be weather protected. It didn't before, right? And then you get to the other side, you deliver it, and you know how it goes, guys. They stack it outside in the rain, and you're like, so why did I spend an extra hour and a half? You know? But no one who got the freight actually cares. All right, now I'm just gonna go around and find a few problem areas. Like here where the bungee rope didn't go quite far enough. Normally I have a bunch of extra slack, but not today. You know what I'm gonna do as well? I'm gonna make sure I tie this in so it doesn't come down and hit the tire. Okay. I'll grab this, and we're in business, guys. Put another bungee here and just tidy up this a little bit and get on the road, guys. I'll end the video here just to save some space. I kind of like the tarp coming over the rail personally, and then the rope kind of snugging it down like that. Just seems like it's a little better. Not like it's gonna rain, but tends to not balloon as much too when you do it that way. All right, I'll finish up doing some odds and ends and then get on the road. All right, guys, I'm over here in Spokane. So I tried to check in, but no one's really in yet. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start untarping. They told me to park here. This is the unloading area. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm not gonna record it. I'm just gonna pull my tarps off and hurry up and get empty. I already have a load that I need to go pick up that heads over to Illinois, so that's where I'll be next. I'll be loading some lumber, 6-foot tarps, going to Illinois. All right, guys, there's my load. This is North Idaho going to outside of Chicago. So I'm gonna get busy strapping, and then I'll probably turn the camera back on when I'm tarping. All right, guys. Put on all my straps that way, and I was a little bit shy on winches on this side, so I had to throw 2 the other direction. Yep. So I'm just gonna get this all laid out here and then start tightening straps, and then I'll get on to tarping. All right, I'm gonna turn the video off, save some space. All strapped down. Now we've got a tarp. So this is where it helps to carry 2 sets of tarps. So this is going to use 6-foot tarps. That's what it called for, and it's pretty accurate in that. But I just wanted to show what I normally do when I think I might be able to get away with a smaller tarp. Is I'll run my tape measure over here like so and see what it'll cover. So 16 foot, that's where 4 foots would come, because we got 4 up the sides and 8 across the top. 16 foot. Jeff carries 5 foot, which would give us 2 extra feet. So that puts 18 foot. So yeah, I was gonna say Jeff might even be able, if he was loading this, he could probably get away with running a smaller tarp, but not really. We're still a little bit from covering. So in Jeff's case, he'd have to use 8 foots because he only carries 5-foot drops and 8-foot drops, and I only carry 4-foot drops and 6-foot drops. So in this particular load, the 6 foots are perfect, but sometimes if they would have pyramided this, you know, done a bunk and then 1 bunk on top in the middle pyramid, I would have been able to probably get away with 4-foot tarp drops because you know, it would have been narrower. But anyway, Just thought I'd point that out. Now they asked me when I got done loading if they wanted, if I wanted them to lift the tarps up there, but I had to pull around to the scale, and with deck space being available, I told them no, that's no big deal, I can lift them up there. If deck space is not available, it's really hard to get the tarps up there because you can't stand on the deck and throw them up, or if it's taller. So I almost had them lifted up, but then sometimes when they're up there and you hit the bumps coming over to the scale, they can roll off, and I don't mind lifting them up. It's good for me. Okay, I'm gonna get some bungees out just like before. We don't have much wind, but there's a little breeze here, so I'll go ahead and run one tarp, come down and button in the corners, and then jump up again. It means you gotta jump down and jump up a lot more than just running both tarps together, but I'd rather not have a tarp run away on me. All right, there we have it. Okay, and we're up. Now, I've gotten a few comments actually, and thank you for all the good comments, guys, but I've got, oh shoot. Some of the comments had said, why don't you carry a ladder? And that's a really good question. I should, but every flatbedder gets in a spot where they don't have any space to carry any more gear. And we have to make a decision. We want to carry Is it more important for us to carry blankets to keep our tarps protected, coil gear so we can haul the expensive loads, or is it more important for us to carry a ladder? And I don't mind being a monkey and crawling all over, so I deemed it wasn't worth me carrying a ladder. I'd rather carry something that's more important. But depending on your operation or where you like to run, if you run all over the country like I do, it certainly is nice to carry all the gear that I carry, because it comes in handy when you're in a spot that has a lot of steel coils. You can still haul coils, and then when you're in a spot that has lumber, you can haul lumber, so on and so forth. So I like to pull it over a little bit, primarily just so that my end flaps come in and I can run a bungee across. That should do it. Okay. Then what I like to do, look at that, 6 foot, perfect. Come right down to it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and use a long bungee, go through it. Okay, go to the other side. So I always like to have a forward pulling bungee on this back tarp. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started buttoning. I'm not gonna finish it, but I'm gonna get started buttoning this corner up. Let's see, we're gonna need to run back flap first. Now this is a long haul, guys. I mean, pretty long, 1,800 miles or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and run like I normally do. My rope, my bungee rope on the sides, but the front and back I'll button up this way with bungee cords. All right, that'll do it for now. Let's go get my other tarp set up. Keeps you young, guys, not carrying a okay, so the reason I said before, Jeff taught me something the other day, a couple months back. If you got a real tall load, now he deals with the tall loads a lot because he loads up here more often in the Pacific Northwest. If you got a real tall load, it's sometimes good to hang on to that bungee. When you get done rolling it out, lean over the top here and get your top bungee together, because you won't be able to reach it on an 8-foot tarp load. But this one's no problem. I got deck space to stand and only 6 foot, so. All right. Gosh, I wish I could take my shirt off. I probably could. Although I don't think anybody would ever. I think I'm gonna. If they bitch at me, oh well. All right, getting a suntan, tarping, guys. This is what we like. Just try not to fall off the load. We don't like that. All right, I like to pull it back a little bit, even it out, gets all the wrinkles out of it. This is a perfect load to tarp, perfectly square, exactly 6 foot. You couldn't ask for an easier 6 foot tarp load. Okay. I like loads like this. Hardly any to tuck up. Nice. Okay, on the front, we want to run the side flaps first and then the end flap so that wind and water flows over it. Okay, now I like to try to tuck that under if we can. Go ahead and finish up the ends. I like to do the ends first and then run my rope because then it's pretty easy. Oh, I don't have any long ones. I'll grab one more long one to put in the back here. And that'll do it for the front and back pretty much. These are all shorts. Oh, there's a couple longs here. Okay, I'm gonna use your long up here. Let me go ahead and throw one here. I might do one on the other side later. Go do the last long one I got here before pulling off more bungees. Button up my end. There we go. Looks good. You guys want to know a really depressing thought? Let's see. In about 4 months, we'll be dealing with ice, snow, and blizzards up here. I know you guys probably could have went through this whole video without remembering that winter's coming, but it is, guys. That's why I like to get it while the getting's good. Okay, I'm gonna turn the camera off and run the other side. But the battery's gonna start dying or the camera's gonna overheat here, so. Both sides ran. Now, I'm gonna start stitching it up. And I like to go just a few sections at a time and then go to the other side so we don't pull the tarp one direction. Probably on this load it wouldn't matter, it probably wouldn't pull, but sometimes you can put too much pressure on one side of the tarp and it pulls it over. Okay, this is where one of my things is busted off. Okay. Make sure this is, sometimes the camera gets flipped when I go upside down. Okay. About ready to have to buy new rope, guys. This rope's getting some areas that are not looking so good. That one's broken off. What I do with the slack is go back through. Jeff just kind of bundles it up and ties it up. Almost done, guys. That's pretty simple, right? Now I've got an 1,800-mile drive. I didn't get that very tight, did I? Okay, the last thing is I'll go around and look for areas that could be problems. We got a long drive, so like I'll tuck this in here. so that doesn't blow around in the wind. It's going to be about the only areas that we have to worry about. I think I'm going to pull that because that could just put a hole in my tarp, and there's no real need for that to be there. Okay, I'll go around the other side, look for problems. It's basically just going to be at that overlap. We'll tie that corner in over there as well, and we're good to rock and roll. Put the gear away, head on out. We got paperwork already, so I'm good to go. All right, guys, that's 6-foot lumber tarps, and remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like flatbed content, and give me a comment, let me know what you would have done. All right, guys, take care. I just finished that tarping job in North Idaho, and I'm over here on Highway 200, parked by the river. And I'm gonna go take a shower. Free shower. So I'm gonna grab some shorts and my wading shoes and go rinse off, get clean. All right, good morning, everybody. I've got my baseball cap with my GoPro mounted on it. And hands-free, see, nice and safe, not being unsafe while driving. I want to talk about the week. I haven't posted any videos in quite a long time, just because I'm going through one of those phases where I've just been busy and haven't had much time to, you know, edit everything. I've got tons of videos recorded, and you guys will have already seen those before you get to this video. But anyway, so last week I had a really strong week, 13,250, I think. And that was because I came out west, and I had said on that video that, you know, the next week was going to be awful, and I think it won't be bad. I came out of Tacoma and went over to Spokane for 1750. That was basically lumber tarped. It was molding, or yeah, they call it molding. It was, you know, manufactured lumber. And then I repicked this load up in North Idaho. This is lumber. It's red cedar, tarped, of course. And this goes out to Niles, Illinois, which is right near Chicago. And this one pays $4,900. Now, I did all that pretty quickly. I reloaded early on Monday, I delivered Tuesday, and then repicked Tuesday, and still had quite a bit of time on my clock, so I'm doing good on timing. It's Thursday. I only have 700 miles to drive, so I'll be there tomorrow, Friday, which means I'll be able to repick Friday. So this week's actually looking pretty good, because from Chicago I can go quite a few different places. I can get a pretty high rate per mile over to, say, Philadelphia, and just burn up the toll roads, or I can get a load, you know, a kind of a cheaper load per mile down to like Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, and kind of reset my week for next week to have a good week. So we're sitting at 6650 right now from Monday to Friday. And I'll pick something up on Friday. Even if we went to Georgia, I would think we'd still be in the 22 to 25, maybe 2,800. So it'll put us, you know, what is that?
almost over 9,000, right? 66, yeah. So if we basically get another 24, it'll put us over 9,000 for the week, delivering on Monday. I'm probably going to do. I'm leaning towards doing a Chicago to Denver or a Chicago to Salt Lake. The reason why is I want to go home. It's been a long time since I've been home. I left. I don't even remember when it was. It was before safety week, before Blitz week. Then I took that vacation during Blitz week in Florida, hanging out with my buddy Jeff, and then I came back home, but I was only home for a 34 reset with freight on the trailer, so I don't really count that as home time. And I've been out since. So it was sometime 2 weeks before Blitz week the last time I've actually been home, empty. We're going on, well, probably nearly 2 months. So I'm kind of wanting some home time, guys. Sue me. I've been out here running. I've been kind of getting burnt out a little bit. So I kind of want some home time, guys. So I think I'm going to opt for that just because, and also that would put me delivering, say, Monday or Tuesday, which is the end of June. At the end of June, that's also the end of the quarter, and I need to go home and do IFTA. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to get a load back to Salt Lake. Is closer to Deadhead from Denver, or Denver because it's less miles, and the rates are probably, the rate per mile will be better, but then once I deadhead home it won't be better. And if I do that lane this week, actually will turn out pretty good because I'll be sacrificing again heading west, and so we might have another we should get over 10 at that point. We should get almost 11, maybe 12, depending on what rate we can find. But we're going to a bad market. So it's, we're kind of sacrificing again for a good. But anyway, this week's going to turn out okay. Like I said, even if I went to a good market and prepared for next week to be phenomenal, I would still be over 9, I think. If I go to a bad market like Utah, maybe I get a load up to Cody, Wyoming, or somewhere near the house that has an awful market that pays good. We might look at a really, really good week, but that's because we're sacrificing to go to a bad market. So anyway, that's what I did coming out of the West. We did okay. I don't have any rate per mile numbers for you because I didn't calculate my miles yet. I haven't made it there yet, and I don't know what load I'm going to pick up, so I don't really have the full week for you guys. I just want to record. It's a nice, beautiful morning out here in South Dakota, and so that's what happened this week so far. So far, it's looking okay. 6,600 for a Monday to Friday, and then I'll certainly pick something up on Friday. Not too bad. I'm definitely not a $13,000 week or nothing like that, but still did pretty good coming out of the West. So yeah, that's what we got going on, and I will hopefully be editing some videos for you guys and posting it up so you guys can see what's been going on. The rates have been really, really good. I've been really impressed. Things have been pretty good as far as a freight market. The weird thing is, and all the experts have been talking about this, we don't really see this from a ton of freight in our market. We see this from lack of trucks, which, supply and demand, either one of those things change and things get better or worse. So lack of trucks is, has an effect just like increased freight. I personally would prefer the lack of trucks model. And the reason is um, if we're gonna have good rates, I'd rather it not be from an abundance of freight. The reason is that when we have an abundance of freight, guess what we also have? An abundance of trucks hauling that freight, which clogs up parking at the truck stops, clogs up the streets, hauling that freight. So I'd much rather have less trucks and less freight as long as the rates are high, because it's more enjoyable to be out here on the road driving with less trucks and parking at truck stops with less trucks parked there. I can't say I've really noticed parking being better. Well, I guess parking's always a problem depending on where you're at. In South Dakota, parking's never a problem, right? In Chicago, parking's a problem, right? In Atlanta, parking's a problem, always, no matter how many trucks are on the road. So it's really just a matter of where you're at. But I would prefer this market over a market like COVID, which was high due to high volume of freight being moved in the marketplace. This market is high simply because a lack of trucks in the marketplace. And I don't think we're really at a spot where there's enough lack of trucks where we can notice it, but I feel like it's going to be better for us, the drivers, to have a lack of trucks rather than an abundance of freight. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on that, but that's just what I've been thinking lately. But I am really, really happy with the market. I am just crossing my fingers that it remains high. And yeah, so anyway, I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope you guys are getting out there and getting the rate that you need and participating in the harvest season. I have certainly been participating in the harvest season. I've been running really hard. Other than that little time in Florida, that's been my only days off pretty much all year. Was that 6 days in Florida during the Blitz week. And I'm looking to probably go home for a week. As much as I need to keep running and keep the money coming in, I also need to do IFTA. I also need to do a little bit of me time, a little bit of home time, I like to do some backpacking, some camping, maybe some shooting. I love shooting sports, so I might go to Salt Lake and do a USPSA competition or something. Haven't done that in years. I need some practice. So I don't know, maybe something like that would be good just to kind of get my soul good again. Trucking for months at a time can kind of break you down, and I've definitely been noticing that. I'm just kind of like in that burnout stage where you're just like, what's the point? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? So even though it's harvest season, even though the getting's good, and I definitely want to get it while the getting's good, you still got to take care of the human and understand that we're not robots out here. So anyway, that's what's going on in my world. Hope you guys are having a good week.
All right, guys, this is the last load of the week. Closed out the week with this one here. This was Illinois to Salt Lake. This load was going to get me home, and I chose to go home. It is coming up on IFTA time, so I need to get home to do that. So we chose this one, which actually gave us a pretty good week because of going to a bad market. So this load paid $54.50. The first load out of Washington was $17.50. Then the Idaho to Illinois was $4,900. So that put us at $12,100 for the week. I thought it would be a lot less than that, but that was because we didn't go to a good market. Utah is not a good market, so that's where I'm dropping this one, and then I'm going to deadhead home. I'll be home for probably a week, and then back out again. So getting some truck maintenance done and getting IFTA done, and maybe get a little bit of mountain time for me. Be pretty fun to get some time off and do something fun. So anyway, that'll be the end of this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like and subscribe, and give me a comment. Let me know how you guys would have secured this stuff. Let me know what you guys are doing, where you guys are running, all that sort of stuff. I'll go ahead and let this time lapse play out. But thanks for watching, guys.